and that this was a major issue with eugenics and the eugenics philosophy. Now, the eugenics philosophy is exactly the opposite of what they're telling you it is. So the eugenics philosophy is the cleaning up the genes so that the undesirables doesn't reproduce. So what do they mean by the undesirables? You got to read the eugenics manifestos, they reports and their writings. Those who have birth defects was considered as the undesirables, that they didn't want to procreate. And the only way that this is possible on Earth with the genes on Earth. Now you got to keep in mind, we on Earth, so we're going to deal with it from an Earth angle. When you look at all of the DNA on Earth, the only DNA is Dogon DNA or Zulu DNA or one of the what they call sister tribes, because of something known as the healing factor or the recovery factor in the blood. What this does is it allows it to capture a birth defect in utero, basically wrap it up and spit it out before it can manifest in the child. But in order to maintain the status quo, they have to artificially create birth defects. Why do they have to artificially create birth defects? In order for eugenics to effectuate the needed cleanup of the genetic defect, in order for it to work, it has to be a system in play where it's a misdirection, or because just like no self-respecting African would date or sleep with Europeans before the cleanup started, Europeans didn't too much care about Africans either. It was a xenophobia, the fear of strangers, that is the reason the Europeans, they didn't trust nobody, because all they knew was deceit, treachery from people that don't look like them. So now when we talking about racism and political differences and divide and conquer, we got to trace this shit back to the source. If you look at it for what it is, there's nobody European that was smart enough to raise Plato and Socrates, to become a Plato and Socrates. They had to go to Africa. There was nobody in Europe capable enough to raise an Alexander as a leader, or a Napoleon. All these guys had to be taught by Africans. And it's not a secret. This is the kicker. It's not a secret. When you go find out the generals that Napoleon studied under, most of them was Africans. That was just only 200 years ago, 1800s. When you go and study who taught Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, Leonardo, Da Vinci, they all learned from Egyptian priests. So who the fuck gave them the power to take over and subjugate what was supposed to be superior people? Now y'all talk about y'all gods, the black gods, y'all ain't doing no god shit. Now, when I say y'all not doing no god shit, y'all doing the same thing you've been doing ever since you've been oppressed, expecting the oppression to change. Gods don't operate like that. Gods don't operate like that. Y'all been doing the same thing, expecting a different result. It ain't working. That's not God shit. If you say you God, right? If you say you God, explain to me what's the difference between a God and a man. All right? Now, I want you to explain to me the difference. Show me what a God do. Show me a God. Show me a man. Explain to me the difference in the two, as Dr. Fuller would say. You can't tell me, look in the mirror and know I'm God. I can do that shit all day long. It's not going to affect any change. What's going to cause the changes we need in order to change the condition of the people. It's not hard. You ain't got to do no God shit. You could do some smart man shit to figure this shit out. It ain't even hard. It ain't even hard. First, you got to know that ain't no white people behind this oppression nowhere on earth. Nowhere on earth. No matter how powerful they look to you, white people ain't running this shit. I'm flat out tell you, the white man ain't behind this. History say it's not possible. Science say it's not possible. So I'm going to have to roll with the history and science. Even the religions say it's not possible. White man ain't behind it. Because when it started, he wasn't even here. You didn't even think about that part, did you? When it started, wasn't no white folks. When the dirt started, wasn't no white people. So how we going to blame it all on the white man? When the dirt started, wasn't no white folks. Now, they've been deceiving us. Let me get to the final part of this, which is about the political prisoners. Because I think by now we ought to all know what happened to the gods that amalgamated with the humans and how do we locate them. Is one of us ain't like none of the rest of us. One of us is the baddest motherfucker ever born. One of us. One of us. And it ain't going to be no secret too much longer. So I sit back and I listen to the grievances. And one of the grievances is about what we call the Grail Kings. Grail Kings being held without tribute, held without honor, and held without respect. And you want to know why. This is the grievance I'm getting. And the grievance concerns people like Jeff Ford, Imam Abu Jamal, Mumia Abu Jamal, Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover, Malachi York, Suge Knight, Big Meech. Anyway, so all the grievances is the same. Is the leaders that we pick get took out the picture, and that the Hellenized leaders they want us to have get promoted. So this is the grievance. This is the remedy. The resolution for the grievance is the class action lawsuit of anybody with a case stemming from a drug conviction. And this is why. According to 42 United States Code 1983, the color of state law, or the color of law actually, 19 United States Code 242 and 18 United States Code 242. These are actionable offenses that the government can commit against a citizen by creating a condition where the citizen commits a crime, but they're actually acting as a de facto agent of the state. Anybody with a drug case in America need to be part of the class action. Anybody with a murder, robbery, home invasion, or anything stemming from a drug case need to be party to the class action. And this is why. When the government is the key organizer and conspirator in an ongoing criminal enterprise, and one of the citizens, don't matter the level, and one of the citizens are baited by the government to participate in the wrongdoing that the government is committing, then the person that the government is using to further its criminal act becomes qualified immune to the prosecution stemming from the act of government. Now, I gotta slow down here because this law stuff is kind of complicated. And it's kind of hard for people to understand, so I need y'all to pay attention. You have being like Demetrius Holloway, Big Meech, BMF, Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, Harry O out in California, and Ricky Ross. All of these guys was classified as major narcotics distributors, and all of their crimes is related and interwoven with the industry of narcotics. now we start getting into the what that got to do with anything part. That got to do with this. There's no way any one of the men that we just named, who we never left America, can get tons of cocaine. Not a couple of ounces. Not a couple of pounds. Not a couple of grams. Tons of cocaine in this country without assistance from the United States government. Now, the question becomes, is this a provable claim? Can this claim be proven that the government of the United States, the corporation known as the United States, operating out of Washington, D.C., being the chief perpetuators of the drug crime? Can we prove this? Yeah, we can prove it. And once you prove that the government is the #1 drug distributor in this country, at that point, you prove also, by proving that fact, you prove that everybody with a dope case are part of the government drug ring. In order to prove that, you have to do a couple of things. First, you have to show the government conspiracy. And now, conspiracy is a unique charge because some of the people in the conspiracy don't even need to know that they are in a conspiracy to be convicted of conspiracy. It's 5 elements to a conspiracy, which I'm not going to get into them now because I'm going to do a whole nother video on the law and political prisoners. I'm going to go more in detail. But anyway, so the government got caught. Yep, they got caught. The government at its highest levels got caught in the 80s. The government of the United States, operating out of Washington, D.C., the president, the vice president, and one of the joint chiefs of staff, Iran-Contra, they got caught. They wasn't just buying drugs from Central America, selling them here. They was buying guns from here, selling them here and abroad. Buying them from the military. They got caught. The Senate hearings is there. Now, I have to prove 2 things in order to prove what I just said. Were they doing it before Iran-Contra got exposed that can be traced? Number 1. Number 2, are they still doing the same shit? So let's look at it. In Behold a Pale Horse, William Cooper produced some government documents that checked out to be valid. The government documents show that George Herbert Walker Bush was bringing in cocaine since the 60s, using oil tankers to jump shipments of narcotics from the islands in Central America all the way to the mainland because the oil rigs were not subject to search. So that means they've been doing it since the 60s at least. So now anybody who has a drug case before the 60s, we don't have to deal with them because they're probably not living no way. Excuse me, I'm almost done. All right, so now, let's just take it from 68. Let me say 68. In 1968, Larry Hoover was on the street, and he wasn't a drug dealer. Harry O was on the street, and he wasn't a drug dealer. Ricky Ross was on the street, and he wasn't a drug dealer. All of a sudden, drugs is coming over here, and these guys, and the government bringing it. Government bringing it. And these guys are automatically drug dealers now. Where they get the dope? Where they get the guns? Where these AK-47s coming from? Where these MAC-10s coming from? Where these Uzis and these Glocks coming from? Don't nobody in the hood make them. They got to get to it some kind of way. And it ain't that many good stealing Negroes in the hood that can go steal all them kind of guns and arm street gangs like they military militias. So let's analyze it. Where is they getting it from? The government. The government, the only one powerful enough to give them that many guns and that much power. So that gives them qualified immunity. We're going to push it a little further. Now that we know that they've been doing it since the 60s, they got caught in the 80s. Well, we in the 2000s now. These people still locked up. So what can we produce right now in real time to show that the government is still involved? Go to Afghanistan. Opium is used to make heroin. In the American military, special forces are working with the Afghanistan farmers to protect the opium fields that Afghanistan is shipping to America that's being made in the heroin. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. Now, how in the hell we supposed to allow people to stay locked up in prison doing the exact same thing their government doing? Doing the exact same thing the government doing. But you're going to leave them locked up. But Oliver North walked, George Herbert Walker Bush walked, Ronald Reagan walked. Now, if you don't see what this is, I don't know what to tell you. Now, a lot of this stuff is subject to scrutiny, but you can't dispute the facts. All you can do is either confirm them or reject them. But one thing about it is you will have to deal with it when they bring the class action correctly. Any drug-related crime since 68. We just go back to 68. Any drug-related crime, the problem is you can't distinguish from the ones who actually did have their own pipeline from the ones that the government had. And this is why. If you go down to Central America right now, Mexico, Guatemala, Panama, Colombia, any of those countries that they call cocaine trafficking countries, and you look at it for what it is, the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, is protecting their dope. The DEA is protecting their dope. The DEA is protecting the dope in third world countries, and they say that it's maintain military and political stability in the region. Now, y'all need to pay attention. Why in the fuck they ain't worried about military and political stability in this country? Why they worried about it down there where they have to protect the dope? Because as long as they got enough money from the dope, they can pay who they want here. All these son bitches for sale. Senators, congressmen, mayors, governors, presidents, they all for sale. Because everything under the system that we under is commercial. Commercial means that it's about the money. So, if you look up, what's that? If you look up 27 CFR 7211, it'll tell you all crime is commercial. It's let me say it again. 27, which the CFR Code of Federal Regulations 72.11 tell you that everything, all law is commercial. Now, what do that mean? If it's commercial, it's for sale. Commercial is what Sears is. It's a commercial outlet. Commercial is what Kmart do. That's a commercial outlet. Kmart is what commercial is what Walmart do. So if all of the law is commercial, what is it telling you? It's for sale to the highest bidder. How do they sell law? They sell law by never letting you know they're selling it. It's a secret. It's a trick. It's a subject matter issue that has no bearing on the subject matter of the person. Now, I'm going to wrap this up here because I've been going for a minute and I done had to do about 4 or 5 videos just to get one video done. But all of those drug cases, that's the exit. If you can prove the government guilty, you can prove all of the people that's on the drug-related cases innocent. You can't create a crime as the government and hold the citizenry culpable for committing the same crime that you compelled them to commit. You can't do that. That's called entrapment, and it's also duress. You're putting them under duress. They have no choice. The living conditions you created mixed with the drug you brought over here create the opportunity for them to escape the poverty, and they're going to take advantage of that. Ain't nobody no damn fool. If you can sell dope, I can too. If you the government, if you the president of the United States, if Donald Trump right now had a sack slinging out the back door of the White House, why I can't sling across the street from him? I'm just saying. It's the same fucking point. So, y'all can be deceived if y'all want to, but I had the answer as to what happened to the angels that fell or the guys that walked among the men, where they go. I went through it genetically, spiritually, energetically. I touched on a little bit about the diet and about the corruption in the system and the breakdown in the system and how it affects us. If y'all really want to see some shit happen, share the shit out this video. Share the shit out of it. Because when the right people hear it, and they know that you got people sitting in prison about 1,000 that should be on the street, that didn't really do nothing wrong of their own accord, but they was compelled to commit a crime by their very own government who held them liable for the crime that the government committed. No. It's all in the books. 42 United States Code 1983, 19 United States Code 243, 18 United States Code 242. All laws commercial, 27 Code of Federal Regulations 7211. It's all in the books. Everybody know how to look up duress. Duress falls under this because they use duress and they use entrapment in order to lock everybody up that's on the dope case. Y'all need to watch out for this. I'm telling y'all what the issue is and what the remedy is. Because it don't make no difference for me to point the problem out if I don't give you a fucking solution. I'm just another motherfucker in the way. I ain't never going to be in nobody's way. I'm going to either find a way out or I'm going to tear this bitch down. That's the only 2 options I got. Find a way out or destruction. And it don't matter to me either way. I'm going to look through here in case somebody got some questions before I get off. Again, we're going to see what they do from here. Hermetic law is the real law. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Walmart martial law. That's why they closing all them Walmarts down so they can turn them into prisons. Yeah, all this stuff is real life. It's right in our face, Chanel. Yeah, matter of fact, the contract holders' names are in the back of Black Law Dictionary. So if you want to know who we contracted to, that's holding the laws, that's holding us oppressed, it's in the back of the Law Dictionary where they're supposed to be the presidents, but it got all of the name of royalty in there. And I posted on here where one of the Moors was going through it. Yep. Chanel, they locked your baby daddy up just to be locking him up because they the ones committed the crime. But if you don't know how to fight it, you got to fight it as a class action at this point because it affects too many people for a person to use it alone because they'll shut the door on all of the rest of the people after the one case. See, they'll create what they call an ex post facto law to clean that shit up, and then the Constitution say that they're not supposed to create any ex post facto laws, but they do it all the time. You know, you'll commit something that they say is a crime, but there's no law in the books for it, and then they'll go put a law in the books and wait for you to do it again. Then they'll charge you with all of them. Conspiracy. Conspiracy is a way to get everybody involved caught up. Yep, still owned by the Queen. Nope. As of July the 4th, the contract was up. We no longer owned by the Queen. Everybody is under my jurisdiction. I'm the Crown Prince. We ain't under her rule no more, and they already know this. That's why they talk about the last president being Trump, the last pope being Francis, and the last Nation of Islam leader being Farrakhan. This is for a reason. So, with that, I don't see any questions that I need to answer. So if y'all got any questions, y'all inbox them. If y'all need me to speak somewhere, y'all just tell me the address and send me a ticket. I'll come. I'll talk to y'all later. Everybody stay on y'all toes. Don't fall for their shenanigans. And I'm going to keep exposing these bastards every chance I get. All right, one love. So, this is a 945, which is 9 by 9, which is flip 69 on the turnaround, on the balance flip. Okay, so, I was getting telepathic messages from Malachi York, and he wanted me to touch on the nature of slander. So this is going to take us back to the last live I did on my page, but it ended up getting erased. But I was addressing this young lady that was pouring salt on the Freelad Hoover cyber parade and giving her the opportunity to come and ask any questions she want. She said she knew enough, and she was quoting the shit out of me in her video, but she think that for some reason I'm on some bullshit, some making some shit, whatever the fuck she think. Then I had several people message me and ask me if Larry, this is the funniest shit to me, if Larry worked for them people. I said, that don't make much sense to me, because who would be willing to work for them people being locked up for 50 fucking years? Because shit ain't even reality. But the COINTELPRO, which I'm not going to play none of their videos today because I'm not going to let them delete this one. But let me get done with these invites and we'll get into this subject matter. Because it's easy, people is easily, alright, that look like that's it. So, people quick to say, to post some dirt on a motherfucking name. Don't know shit about them, never met them, but they'll throw some dirt on their name. Right? They be talking all that old, I'm holy rollers, spiritual woke shit. But when they confronted with the opportunity to determine if they really spiritually woke by putting that shit to the question, these niggas run. Right? So since they like to put slander on people's name, you need to understand the strategy of what they call hang them in effigy. An effigy is the image of a person. So when they say hang them in effigy, you don't necessarily have to kill the person to destroy him. You destroy their character. You destroy
You talk about them, about shit you don't even know, accuse them of making alliances. Jay-Z is the Illuminati, and all that old kind of shit. Ain't now one of y'all seen Jay-Z go to one motherfucking Illuminati meeting. Y'all seen him throw up some Rockefeller signs for his record label and say that make him be the Illuminati now. That's the most dumbest shit I ever heard in my life, but I entertain it because it's entertaining, but it don't have no truth value to it with me. It's more of entertainment, right? Like I like to watch The View. I like to watch Carson and Daily Show. I like to watch motherfucking Fox. I like to watch wrestling. That shit for entertainment. That shit is not to tell me what's going on in the world, but I can use it to read it like an oracle just because I'm psychic. Right? So, well, seeing him forehead to forehead with Marina Abramovich don't make him Illuminati. It can make him an ignorant ass nigga that don't know who the fuck she is. Right? So I'm saying is or is not. I'm talking about the nature of slander and showing how we have evidence to come to a conclusion based off of interaction with a person. Somebody can be good as hell to you and be the devil to another motherfucker. So now all of a sudden, do that make you the devil because the person that's good to you was the devil to other people? Not necessarily, right? So this is how you end up with the bad guys winning over the good guys, right? The bad guys win over the good guys because don't nobody care if Bill Clinton fucking little girls on Epstein Island on video. They more concerned about is Will Smith in the Illuminati? Is he into the adrenochrome drinking? I wouldn't give a fuck which one of them motherfuckers, whoever did the dirt, need to pay for the dirt. But